Good day, everyone. Um, we are in biology and still on biology and society course, and we shall be looking at the interplay, the interaction between biology and society. We shall look at this from different angles. Biology being the study of life, it studies organisms on a broad scale. It studies organisms and also studies their structure, the functions, the growth, the evolution of living organisms, and that is why we have different or several specific disciplines under biology. And because we have different disciplines, or because biology is broad, studies organisms, studies life on a broad scale, it has various ways of interacting with the society. The interaction with the society will include the interaction or interplay with the biomedical sciences, environmental, it may be ethical, it may be social, it may be political, it may be philosophical. So we're going to look at few of these interactions or interplays of biology with society under different subheadings. So the first one we're going to look at the interplay, that is the interaction where we have interaction or interplay, you know, of biology and biomedical science. We are already aware that biology is the science of studying life. Like I said the other time, it includes organisms and their studying organisms and their structures, functions, growth, origin, evolution, their distribution. But when we talk about biomedical science specifically applies biological knowledge to understand human health. Biomedical science is actually the application of biological knowledge to human health. That is, all the knowledge, all the things that are being studied in biology, we have a practical application of this to human health, and it focuses on disease mechanism. That is, when we say disease mechanism, how do we have disease or sicknesses taking place in human beings? How does it affect, or how does it take place? How does the reaction take place in the cells at the cellular level? We have the diagnostics aspect, that is, how do you understand diseases? How do you understand diseases? How do you prevent them in the body? How do we cure them? Then we have the therapeutic development. That is, how do we develop drugs, medicine to cure these diseases? So we look at it, and most of these drugs, most of these medicines that are being developed are actually from organisms, like from plants. So biology is the foundation of many disciplines in medical or in biomedical science. Biomedical science actually relies on various branches of biology, relies on branches of biology such as biochemistry. Like we mentioned the other time, we know what biochemistry is. That is the study of the chemical composition of biology. We know the biophysics, the molecular biology or genetics, immunology. All these ones are in biology that are being used, that are branches of biology that are being used in biomedical science. Biomedical science actually translates the knowledge that is gained from biology, knowledge that is gained from biochemistry or biophysics into medical application, that is, into an application that involves human health. The knowledge of biology is actually applied in biomedical sciences. So the discoveries that are being made through research in biology are being translated into practical application. That is, when we have discoveries, when discoveries take place in biology, you have this being translated into practical application in human health. Just like I said the other time, it's used in this knowledge is used in disease mechanism, diagnostics, therapeutic development, in pharmacology, which is the development or the formation of the medicines and how medicines work in the body. Then we also have biology and its interplay or interaction with the environment. Biology is actually a science of life, and organisms are present all over. They reside all over. They are present at different places. So biology studies the living environment and the relationship of biological organisms and their environment. You will agree with me that there's a broad topic that is on this under biology that is there, that studies biology, or that deals with the study of organisms and their interaction with the environment, and that topic is ecology. So there is a complex and detailed interconnection between biology and environment. What we can say, that there is a maybe we say a complex interplay, a complex interconnection between biology and environment. Studying biology actually give an individual the ability to be able to learn a great thing about the environment related basic knowledge, that is to have a knowledge about the environment, and also foster a feeling towards the environment and develop skills that are needed to protect the environment. We need to protect our environment. We need to preserve our environment. The knowledge of biology in studying the organism and its environment gives the skill to an individual. So biology plays a vital role in developing individuals' positive feelings toward nature, that is toward the natural environment. Uh, the study of biology helps individuals to develop environmental skills. When we say skills like identifying environmental problems, identifying or define environmental problems, the ability to analyze the environmental problems, and the ability to solve environmental problems. So the interaction could be, maybe we say the interactions are in two ways. The organisms in our environment, they rely on the environment for resources such as food, such as water, such as sunlight for their survival. And also the organisms rely on the environment to adapt to environmental conditions so that they will be able to survive. And in another way, organisms also influences the environment. They influence the environment, for example, when they release elements like oxygen into the environment. So biology also studies how gene and environment interplay. How gene and environment, you have environmental factors that can influence expression of genes in an organism. For example, if we have an individual that has this light complexion gene, if the person is in an environment maybe where the climatic condition, the temperature is high, and high temperature, high sunlight, and all this stuff, it is possible that there won't be expression of light complexion in light skin in that particular individual. So that's an example of how the environmental factor can influence expression of genes. You have another environmental factor like pollution can also influence expression of genes. So there is need, or you have interconnection of biology and the environment. Now we look at the interaction between biology and ethics. Biology, as I've been saying, is the scientific basis, the study of the scientific basis of life. Ethics actually examines morals, behaviors. Ethics is about moral principles, it's about moral values, it's about human conduct. There's even a particular course in biology that is referred to as bioethics. Bioethics is the study of ethical issues that are arising as a result of different researches in biology, that are different researches in biology as a result of technical advancements or technological advancements in biology, and their applications in healthcare, their applications in medicine and the environment, such as gene therapy, such as genetic screening, such as embryo experiments. So we have a ethic explanation towards this. So the ethic explanation towards this gave rise to a sub-discipline that is, or a discipline that is referred to as a bioethics. Bioethics actually includes a field such as medical ethics, research ethics, environmental ethics, public ethics. Biology is the foundation for ethical consideration. Biology is actually the foundation for ethical consideration. So when we look at that, when we say is the foundation for ethical consideration, like for example, understanding life processes, understanding life processes is very important for making ethical decisions about medical treatments, genetic engineering, environmental preservation. To have an ethic understanding of all this, one is a understanding of life processes, which are usually being provided by biology. And so all these ethical consideration, the foundation for the ethical consideration are being given by biology. Now also we look at evolutionary biology. Evolutionary biology actually explains insight into biological basis of human, the biological basis of human that is relevant to ethics, such as cooperation, altruism. Altruism is like when you have when you say that yes, you don't really have or what you refer to as a belief or the practice of disinterest in others, or selfless concern for the well-being of others. That's what we refer to as altruism. Moral decision making. So evolutionary biology will explain the biological basis. And so when evolutionary biology explains the biological basis of this in humans, then we have the ethical consideration in bioethics. Also, we have impact of biological technology, such as raising ethical questions on potential benefits and harms of certain biotechnology, like the functioning of nervous system. You have the genetics. You have some questions, ethical questions that are being raised on this particular issue. So there must be an interplay and interconnection between biology and ethics for appropriate explanation on this ones. For example, you also have ethics that are guiding biological research and practice. So there must be respect in this. There must be respect for others, respect for other opinions, acting in the best interest of others, avoiding harms, fair justice. That is, in the process of biological research, we have to put all this into consideration. Example of ethical issues in biology, like for example in organ transplant. You have heard of a organ transplant before, maybe like kidney transplant. Biology will explain what's the need for kidney transplants. That is, when one kidney is not working, if you are able to get another kidney from somewhere, you can plant it inside another person, and it's going to help that particular person's the kidneys to function well, and that particular person will be healthy, will avoid dialysis. But it needs ethical explanation. That is biology, but it needs ethical explanation. Like in Africa, for example, in Nigeria, it is possible for them to say that, oh, when you put organ of someone in another individual, it is possible for that individual to be behaving like the person you transfer the organ from. Yeah, but there must be ethical explanation of this. You also have reproductive technology as an example, like this surrogacy of a teen is something that came up as a result of a research in biology. But now you have ethical issues being raised based on this. But it has to be explained, and when it is explained to, you know, biologically, it will come to the understanding of the people, and when they understand, then that is why we're saying that there must be interconnection, there must be practice in between them. Now let's look at biology and interaction with social issues. This interaction is deep and complex. Biology influences social behaviors, while social and environmental factors also affect biological processes and health. Biology influences on social issues like the health and diseases, behavioral traits, evolutionary perspectives. These are different ways in which biology influences the social issues. Then we also have social issues influencing or influences on biology, like social stress and health. When you are living in a particular place, or when somebody is not have social issue, maybe like poverty, it is possible for the person not to be feeling well, and it will affect the organs in the body. We have environmental factors too. We have environmental factors like pollution. This could affect the genetic, the genetic composition of an individual. So examples of interaction, we have health disparities, we have ethical considerations in science. These are examples of how biology and social issues interact.